Howdy, howdy ho. Today's video was more of a PSA because I touched upon this indirectly in regards to Nintendo. It looks like Sony is showing increasingly greedy signs as well, and here's the biggest issue. Paying $10 more for your games doesn't mean what you think it does. Dear PlayStation fans, trickle-down economics isn't real. You know what I've learned? I've learned that the poorest people I've ever met are always trying to brag about what they can afford, often using brand names. The richest people I've ever met, and I'm in Cali, there are plenty, are often the most frugal people I've ever met, and you simply can't tell just by looking at them. And let me tell you, I've met people who spend a lot of money trying to look rich, and they are simply drowning in debt. Happily spending more money simply because you can is not the flex you think it is. So when you're out there flexing just how happy you are to spend $10 extra on your PlayStation games, you don't look at all like you think you do. Sure, it is just $10, but you're also trying to flex over just $10. Now that we got that part out of the way, what's that extra $10 going towards? Let's just have a look at a game I'm admittedly 100% gonna buy, God of War Ragnarok. It's $10 more on PlayStation 5. But why? You're not getting any extra content. You're not getting anything except better graphics settings, higher resolution / frame rates, and controller / audio features, and get this, that you already paid for when you bought your PS5. That's right, when you bought your PS5, you already paid for better hardware to do these things. And now you're paying an extra $10 per game to access the features you already paid for? Yeah, you aren't supporting Sony when you pay an extra $10. You're just getting nickel and dimed. Keep in mind, the PlayStation 5 isn't sold at a loss anymore. That stopped happening when they crossed 10 million units sold. They're over 20 million units now. You might think inflation is your counterpoint to this, but that's completely wiped out by the massive increase in the size of the gaming market. There are people buying games now in the millions more than there ever were before because, let's face it, everyone under the age of 40 is either playing or has played video games. It's a household item in developed countries at this point in our society. Now there's pretty much a 0% chance that the top gaming revenue company is going to back down on prices, so all you can do now is wait for sales on those $70 games as much as possible. But yeah, I get it, some of those games you just gotta have them day one because hype, right? So hype my mustache just fold off. The more people wait for sales, the more they'll see a steeper drop-off in units sold at launch and more units sold during sales, which will encourage them to do sales more frequently, even if it's just micro discounts. If the data shows enough of an uptick in units sold during sales, you're more likely to get small discounts like 10% off or $5 off in higher frequencies. It doesn't quite make up for the $10, but patience is your only way of fighting back against raised prices. I can also tell you that extra $10 is not going to that hard-working dev that worked a 10-hour shift to get your banger out. Think about it, many of us work mid-level jobs. When has your company's profits or sales targets ever directly impacted your pay? It doesn't. You might get a bonus or something. That will completely pale in comparison to the bonuses, awards, and pay increases that go to the executives, top-level management, and board of directors. You basically just get a pat on the back like a good little worker bee, and most of these worker bee game devs do this out of passion for the art, something many corporations purposely exploit. Your extra $10 isn't doing anything except lining the pockets of the higher-ups who already don't need it. Don't kid yourself, you're not helping anyone that actually needs it. There are far better ways to help people with $10. Again, trickle-down economics isn't real. Flexing how you give your money to a multi-billion-dollar corporation is quite literally poor people syndrome. I'll see you next time on the Gaming 5.